Scarcity. Comprehensive Master Notes, Sociology Optional, HPAS 2024, Introduction. Environmental sociology challenges the traditional human exemptionalism paradigm, the belief that humans are independent of natural laws, and advocates for the new ecological paradigm, Catton and Dunlap. This perspective asserts that human societies are inextricably linked to the biophysical environment. Pollution and scarcity are not merely technical failures but are social facts rooted in our modes of production, consumption patterns, and social stratification. 2. Pollution, air, water, and soil. A. Sociological causes. Why does it happen? Treadmill of production, Alan Schneiberg. Modern industrial capitalism requires constant growth to sustain profits. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle where nature is used as a tap, resources, and a sink, waste. Metabolic rift, John Bellamy Foster, Marx. Capitalist agriculture and urbanization disrupt the natural nutrient cycle. Nutrients from the soil are transported to cities as food and end up as sewage, pollution, rather than returning to the land. Risk society, Ulrich Beck. Modernity produces manufactured risks, nuclear radiation, toxins that escape human control. We have moved from a class society to a risk society. Conspicuous consumption, Thorstein Veblen. The culture of consumerism drives waste generation. Status is linked to consumption, leading to a throwaway society. Urbanization, Chicago School. Rapid, unplanned urbanization creates zones of transition where waste management collapses, leading to slum proliferation and concentrated pollution. Weak state regulation. In developing nations, the state often acts as a facilitator of capital, prioritizing ease of doing business over environmental enforcement. Tragedy of the commons, Garrett Hardin. Individuals acting in self-interest deplete shared resources, air, water, because no single entity owns them, though sociologists argue community management can prevent this. Global division of labor. Dirty industries are outsourced from the global north to the global south, e.g., shipbreaking in Alang, Gujarat. Technological optimism. The false belief that future technology will solve all pollution problems, delaying immediate action. Cultural disconnect. Modernity has disenchanted nature, Weber, reducing it to dead matter rather than a living entity to be respected. B. Environmental injustice, inequality of pollution, concept. The poor and marginalized bear the disproportionate burden of environmental hazards. Caste and space, India. Dalits and lower castes are often forced to live in downstream or downwind areas near landfills and open drains. Example, Gajipur landfill, Delhi, is surrounded largely by working-class migrant and minority settlements. Environmental racism, Robert Bullard. Globally, hazardous waste sites are deliberately sited in minority neighborhoods. The boomerang effect, Beck. While the rich can buy air purifiers, eventually pollution, like climate change, affects everyone, though the poor suffer first and worst. 3. Scarcity, water and soil fertility. A. Water scarcity and community well-being. Commodification of nature. Water is transformed from a community commons to a marketable commodity, bottled water, excluding those who cannot pay. Hydraulic mission. The state's focus on large dams, e.g., Narmada, displaces tribals and disrupts local hydrology, often benefiting urban industry over rural agriculture. Ecofeminism, Vandana Shiva. Women are the primary water collectors in patriarchal societies. Scarcity increases their drudgery and time poverty, reducing time for education or economic activity. Interstate conflicts. Scarcity leads to regionalism and conflict, e.g., Kaveri water dispute, Satluj-Yamuna link, fracturing social cohesion. Health burden. Lack of clean water leads to waterborne diseases, cholera, perpetuating the cycle of poverty due to high out-of-pocket health expenditure. Corporate appropriation. Companies extracting groundwater for beverages deplete community aquifers. Example, Plachimada, Kerala versus Coca-Cola, where the community fought back against resource theft. Urban bias. Water is diverted from agriculture to sustain urban expansion, threatening rural livelihoods. Cultural loss. Rivers are sacred in India, e.g., Ganga. Their pollution and drying up lead to a loss of cultural identity and ritual significance. Migration. Water stress is a primary driver of distress migration from rural to urban slums. Virtual water trade. Exporting water-intensive crops, rice, sugarcane, effectively means exporting scarce water. B. Declining soil fertility. Green Revolution critique. The shift to monoculture and chemical fertilizer destroyed soil biodiversity and micronutrients. Punjab, Haryana crisis. Second contradiction of capitalism, James O'Connor. capitalism undermines the very environmental conditions, soil, it needs to produce, leading to rising costs and crises. Agrarian distress, infertile soil requires more fertilizer, right arrow higher debt, right arrow farmer suicides, Durkheim's enemy. Food insecurity, degradation threatens the reproduction of life-sustaining systems, leading to nutritional deficiencies, hidden hunger. Loss of indigenous knowledge. Traditional methods like crop rotation and mixed cropping are replaced by scientific management, which often fails in local contexts. IV. Comprehensive critical analysis. Sociological perspective. Analysis of environmental degradation. Functionalism. Views environmental problems as dysfunctions of rapid social change. Believes in ecological modernization, using technology, market to fix the environment without changing the system. Conflict theory, Marxist, pollution is a result of the profit motive. The bourgeoisie exploit nature just as they exploit labor. Solutions require dismantling capitalism. Symbolic interactionism focuses on how we construct environmental problems. E.g., why is plastic seen as convenient rather than toxic? How media frames pollution shapes public perception. Ecofeminism connects the domination of women with the domination of nature. Both are seen as passive resources to be exploited by patriarchal capitalism. Ramachandra Guha. Environmentalism of the poor in the West. Environmentalism is a full stomach leisure activity, protecting pandas. In India, it is a survival struggle, protecting water, forests for livelihood. Giddens paradox. People do not act on environmental issues like climate change because the dangers seem abstract and future oriented, but by the time they are tangible, it is too late. V impact on society. Negative impacts, environmental refugees, displacement due to desertification or projects, e.g., 50 million plus displaced by dams in India. Health crisis, rise in non-communicable diseases, asthma, cancer. Example, the cancer train from Bathinda to Bikaner carries farmers affected by pesticide overuse. Social stratification, widening gap between those who can insulate themselves, ACs, row systems, and those who cannot. Loss of biodiversity, erasure of genetic diversity essential for future medicine and agriculture. Intergenerational inequity, we are leaving a resource deficit planet for future generations. Positive impacts, response and resilience, new social movements, NSMs, rise of non-class-based movements like Chipko, Appiko, and Narmada Bachao Andolan. Ecological citizenship, a new form of civic identity where duties toward nature are central. Legal activism, the rise of the National Green Tribunal, NGT, and public interest litigations, bills, empowering citizens. Revival of tradition, renewed interest in organic farming, zero-budget natural farming, and sacred groves. Global solidarity, international cooperation, Paris Agreement, fostering a global community consciousness. V. Way forward, a sociological solution. From anthropocentrism to ecocentrism, a fundamental value shift recognizing nature has intrinsic rights, e.g., Uttarakhand HC declaring Ganga a living entity. Deliberative democracy. Decisions on resources must be made by Gram Sabhas, as per PESA Act 1996, and local communities, not just bureaucrats. Model, Ralegan Siddhi, Anna Hazare, and Hivare Bazar, successful community watershed management. Circular economy, moving away from take-make waste to a regenerative system where waste becomes a resource. Polluter pays principle, strict enforcement to internalize environmental costs. Education, integrating environmental ethics into the socialization process, school curriculum, to change the habitus of future generations. Gender mainstreaming, involving women in water and land management policies as they are the primary resource managers. The growth strategy, challenging the GDP-centric model of development and focusing on gross national happiness or sustainable well-being. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, mandating green investments not just as charity but as operational compliance. 7. Conclusion. The environmental crisis is not a crisis of nature, but a crisis of society. As sociologist Anthony Giddens suggests, we are juggernauts riding a runaway engine of modernity. Addressing pollution and scarcity requires a sociological imagination, see Wright Mills, that links personal troubles, e.g., a farmer's failed crop, to public issues, e.g., climate change. The path forward lies in harmonizing the red, social equity, with the green, ecological sustainability. 8. Important HPAS questions, PYQs and model. This section covers relevant questions for the Himachal Pradesh Administrative Services HPAS examination aligning with the Environmental Issues, Awareness and Action syllabus module. HPAS previous year questions, relevant themes, HPAS Mains 2018, Sociology, write a note on environmental movements in India. Direct relevance to response and resilience. HPAS Mains 2019, GS1, Sociology, discuss the social impact of environmental degradation with special reference to Himachal Pradesh. Focus on local context like hydro projects and tourism. HPAS Mains 2022, GS1, there is a need to balance economic development with environmental protection for the sake of sustainable development. Discuss. HPAS Mains, General Sociology Trend, questions often link sustainable development with social equity, e.g., impact on tribals, women. B. Model questions for HPAS 2024. Question. Environmental degradation is not just an ecological catastrophe but a manifestation of social inequality. Critically analyze this statement with reference to the concept of environmental justice. Question. Discuss the concept of risk society by Ulrich Beck. How is it relevant to understanding the pollution crisis in Indian metropolitan cities? Question. HP specific. Analyze the sociological impact of hydropower projects and tourism-led urbanization on the delicate ecology and community life of Himachal Pradesh. Question. Explain the link between declining soil fertility and agrarian distress in India. How can a return to traditional knowledge systems offer a sociological solution? Question. Critically examine the role of ecofeminism in understanding water scarcity in rural India. Cite examples from environmental movements. Absolutely. The comprehensive notes provided above are designed to answer 4 out of the 5 model questions directly. However, for question 3, the Himachal Pradesh specific question, while the notes provide the sociological concepts, displacement, hydraulic mission, you would need specific Himachal examples to score high marks in HPAS. Here is how you can use the notes to solve the questions, and I have added the missing HP specific data below to truly make this a one-stop solution. Mapping the notes to the questions. Question topic. Where to find the answer in the notes? 1. Environmental justice. Use Section 2B, Inequality of Pollution, Environmental Racism, and Section 3A, Gendered Impact. Quote Robert Bullard and the example of Ghazipur landfill. 2. Risk Society, Ulrich Beck. Use Section 2A3, Risk Society Definition, and Section 2B, Boomerang Effect. Connected to Section V, Health Crisis in Cities. 3. HP Specific Impact. Concepts in notes, specifics added below. Use Section IIIA2, Hydraulic Mission, and Section V1, Ecological Refugees. 4. Soil Fertility and Distress. Use Section 3B, Green Revolution Critique, Farmer Suicides, Durkheim, and Section V4, Revival of Tradition, Zero Budget Farming. 5. Ecofeminism. Use Section IIIA3, Vandana Shiva, Time Poverty, and Section VI6, Gender Mainstreaming. Mention Chipko from Section V1. Addendum. Specific content for Question 3, HP context. To fully solve the HPAS specific question, add these local examples to your notes. Theme, Hydropower and Tourism in Himachal Pradesh. Hydropower and Displacement, Kinnaur and Lahaul Spiti protests. The No Means No campaign in Kinnaur against large hydro projects is a classic example of new social movements. Locals argue that blasting for tunnels, run-of-the-river projects, is causing landslides and drying up natural springs, chashmas. Sociological angle. This is a conflict between national development, electricity for India, and local survival, subsistence agriculture. Tourism and carrying capacity, Shimla water crisis, 2018, a perfect example of urban bias. Water was prioritized for hotels over local residents, leading to social unrest and the viral Stop Visiting Shimla campaign. Rohtang Pass degradation. The NGT, National Green Tribunal, imposed limits on vehicles to Rohtang Pass due to black carbon melting glaciers. This shows the risk society, where tourism, economic gain, created environmental risks that required legal intervention. Agriculture shift. Shift from traditional crops to apple monoculture, Royal Delicious, has made the economy vulnerable to climate change, less snowfall. This is the treadmill of production at a local level. Summary. With the master notes provided earlier plus this HP addendum, you have 100% of the material needed to solve all the questions listed.